There were big cuts that happened to the media industry here in this country over the course of this week, and some people are worried about the state of local news in this country. And the cuts, they happened at Bell Media-owned stations across Canada, leaving some stations without a newsroom. Take a look at this. Bell Media has said that basically they haven't indicated how many positions have been cut. However, union representatives for Bell Media outlets confirmed that at least 210 employees were laid off in the Greater Toronto area alone.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's just right here in the GTA. That number is obviously much higher when you take into account all the layoffs across this entire country. These layoffs, they also included many talented producers and newsroom staff, like camera operators, behind the scenes staff, local reporters, people whose names you're probably never gonna hear. Some people, I can tell you, they just started their family, they just had a child. I just came from this industry before I stepped into what I'm doing right now. So I know a lot of these people who've been affected by this. And from what I'm hearing, how these people were laid off was a little bit ruthless. Take a look at your screen, because this came from a tweet from weather anchor Anwar Knight from CTV Toronto. He said, on Wednesday afternoon, over the phone, in a span of 2 minutes, I was told, and I quote, "Your services are no longer needed. Thank you for your contribution."
Are you kidding?
No. In the span of 2 minutes after more than a decade of giving your blood, sweat, and tears to your employer, gone. Now, you're probably a little upset for these people, rightfully so. Bell is taking a lot of heat right now because of the fact that these cuts come just days after they held their Bell Let's Talk mental health campaign.
I was literally just thinking that.
But they're also taking a lot of heat because Bell actually accessed more than $120 million of taxpayer money from the government's wage subsidy program that was designed to keep people employed. But here's also the reality. Because can we talk real talk?
Let's
Can we talk real talk? This business relies solely on advertising dollars. And the reality is, for media companies, advertising dollars are down. And most companies, as we all know, they care about the bottom line. But the other problem here, which many people may not know, is that Canada's media is actually controlled by just a handful of companies. I want to explain that really quickly for you, because the biggest of them all is actually Bell themselves. They own big names like CTV, CP24, wink wink, TSN, BNN Bloomberg, Crave, and more than 100 radio stations like Chum and Virgin. In fact, their market share is about 40%. What does that mean? Basically, 40% of Canadians get their news and entertainment from one source.
That's crazy.
From one company. The other big company in our country is Corus and Shaw. They basically have a market share of about 35%. That means that after these people who have lost their jobs, they basically have these many companies to go look for work.
But it also means, Brendan, that the news being pushed out to Canadians is controlled by essentially two narratives.
And that's the thing, because diversity of voices, narratives, perspectives, so important. It's why supporting independent media like The Brendan Gona Show is so important. Anyways, to all the people who lost their jobs, we wish you well.